Yeah, let's have in mind Rabbi Nathan Baruch Bendit Ben Sivia.
Yes, you have a full shalema. Okay, so we're just going to catch up, so we'll go a little fast. But the first Amud is a lot of Agadata, probably from the most famous Gemaras in Shas. That I hope not to get. I mean, there's a lot to discuss. So let's see. So we're starting 2, 4, 5 lines down from the top on Daf Yomi Eruvin. Yeah, we have it. Yes, we all there? Did I lose the guys?
Yeah, we're all there. We're good.
Okay, no, I'm just afraid if you lose me, then please text me that I'm talking to the wall. All right, so I'm gonna bacha bar Chanina Goliv Yadol Lefnei Misha Amar V'Hoya Olam She'ein B'Darish Rameir Shavar K'Maisa. Right, it's Goliv Yadua in front of obviously in front of Hashem that there was nobody like Rameir. Rameir wasn't like Rameir, even though he was the greatest. There was no way to even understand. Saif Daite means we couldn't even figure out his at the end of his das of exactly what he was even thinking. Shu Aimer al Tamei Tar, Umar le Panim al Tar Tamei. I'm sorry, Shu Aimer al Tamei Tar, Umar le Panim. He can say why something that's tamei is really tar, and he'll prove it. Mar le Panim means he'll show face for it, meaning he'll prove that. Al tar tamei, Umar le Panim, and he'll say on something that's tar, he'll call it tamei, and he'll also prove himself with that. So nobody, meaning he was able to argue whatever arguments he wanted, whichever way. So nobody could really figure out what bottom line is. What did Rameir hold? Okay, so Tana le Rameir Shemai, Ela Rav Nunai Shemai. His name was not Rameir. Because he lit everybody's eyes up with the halacha. Yeah. And his name was not Rav Nurai, Allah Nechemi. Sometimes it was Nurai. Same, it means the same thing. Also lighting up everybody's eyes, right? So in the halacha, meaning he was megala so many new things. Ravi, hi. Now this is an important one. It actually comes up for Sukkos. Yeah, why? Because hi the mechadna mechavroi. Rabbi said that my friends have. I'm smarter than my friends. Because I saw the back of Rameir. If I would have seen Rameir from the front, I would have been even smarter. Right? That your eyes should see, yes, your eyes should see your Rebbeim, right? Which is where in Sukkot we spend a lot of time in the Sukkah, and that's why we put pictures of the Rebbeim. Now you're going to say a picture is supposed to be live, not picture supposed to be live, not meaning this means live. This doesn't mean a picture, but Lamais to the place can say that it means even a picture. And the proof to that is that can you daven in front of a woman who's not sneeze that's on the screen that comes up a lot on an airplane? Can you or can you not? So you're not allowed to. At least most places will say you're not allowed to. So it has that effect even without that, without being live. Yeah, which is where we get our pictures from.
None of his colleagues went to the same shiur.
Right, that's excellent. Right. Yeah. Excellent question. You have a pshat in that? Anybody have a pshat in that? Meaning he wasn't the only one. So the only thing that I could think of was that he was much younger, and that's why he only was able to see the back. And once the previous generation passed away, that all saw Rameir, so he was considered the gadol because he at least had that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's almost a mice like Reb Shlomo in the Sukkah. There's a mice. It's almost what you're saying.
Yeah. I don't know. That's
yeah.
Go ahead.
One of the fellas, Chayzer B'tshuva fella, brought his parents to meet Reb Shlomo with sukkah, so they were in the sukkah. And his fella's father never seen that. They, all the gedolim on the wall, the pictures. So he said, the rabbi, what are these pictures? He says, that's a picture, those are pictures of a species which is almost extinct. They exist before World War II. They're called human beings.
Very good.
Yeah.
Triaco, it's
Well,
I mean,
it's a different door. What you're saying, a different door is a different door. Yeah.
Yeah.
it
What are you saying, Simon?
could be. That's me. It could happen like today, right?
Simon.
You have how many thousands of people got smicha from Ramesha, right? But there's only a handful of rabbanim that are gehaltana that they're actually talmidim or Ramesha with a Messiah and psak from Ramesha.
So what are you saying?
I'm
Yeah,
saying,
but the
so
ones that
he had a lot of talmidim, but if he was makobel to be like a real Talmud who really saw his Rebbe, that's a different story than.
Tzvi Yaakov, he's
yeah,
right.
but the bottom line is, but he's saying the reason why he was so much better is because he got to see Reb Meir's back,
Reb
right?
Tzvi
But the
Yaakov,
other Talmidim saw Reb Meir also.
Reb Tzvi Yaakov, he's right.
No,
Go ahead.
The Marsha says that if you see a Rebbe's facial expression, you'll understand what he's talking about.
Okay, but I hear that, but that doesn't answer why he was the.
No, that's
meaning when Rabnata Greenblatt, right,
Yeah.
saw the Ramosha's face when he gave the psak, it could be that he understands the psak better than somebody who just heard it on the telephone or in his speech.
I hear.
Right, but
I
he's saying here that he was better than he's smarter than everybody else because he attended the lectures. So nobody else attended Reb Meir's shiurim?
Maybe I don't know.
no, that's what I'm saying. There's attending and then there's attending.
Right, but
in the bottom of the art scroll, the Hebrew art scroll, he brings down that you said that he was the youngest. Sounds like that he was smarter than everyone else who wasn't there.
Interesting.
Meaning all his later contemporaries who were not in his shear, therefore he was smarter.
I hear. Wow. Okay, so
This
okay,
is all-
a little bit.
This
Now there's a
also is
Ridvaz. What are
the
you
story
saying?
of Moshe Shapiro and Rabbi Yeager and the Baal Bus from Lawrence.
Yeah. But that was a recording, though. That was a tape recording.
Right, but
Right. But there's a Ridvaz on this. It's a shtickle famous Ridvaz that says that when you have a Rebbe and you have a connection to that Rebbe, then the Tchunas HaNefesh, I don't remember the exact lashon that he uses, gets transferred from the Rebbe to the Talmud, and he brings the raya from this Gemara that if you are your eyes, if you see the Rebbe, even the back, and you connect, I guess I hate to use that word, but to connect with him, then whatever was going on by the Rebbe goes into the Talmud. Something along those lines.
You understand your father what he meant by Eruvin more than what other people who heard him to give a shit.
I hear. Okay, that could be. Right. Okay. But anyway, so that's that Gemara. So Vayter Amar Ravo Amar Rav Yochanan Talmud Hayu Loy L'Remeir V'Sumcha Shmoi. By Remeir, the Talmud, his name was Sumcha Shayu Aimer Al Kol Davar V'Davar Shal Tuma Arbaim Shmoina Tamei Tuma. For anything that was become tamei, he would say 48 reasons why it should be tamei. Al Kol Davar V'Davar Shal Tahira Arbaim Shmoina Tamei Tahira. On anything that should have been tar, he said 48 things for tahira. Tana Talmud Vasik Haya. There was an old, well, the child is how you touch Vasik, right? It's like from the word Vasikin is the pashtas, right? Or, okay, we'll go with that touch. He was Vasikin what's the word? Like a Zoriz, like somebody on top of his game.
Outstanding.
Yeah? Outstanding? Okay, I hear that. Okay, very good. He would metar a sheretz, right? A sheretz is normally tamei, but he was metar, and he gave 150 reasons for that. Samar Ravina, ani eden v'tarenu. I'm gonna make a din here, and I'm gonna make a tarit from a very simple way, without having to come up with 150 reasons. So nachash that kills things, and it actually causes more tumah because anything that's dead is tamei. So then it's but the snake itself is tar, right? A snake is not a sheretz. Sheretz she'ein me'misumar b'tumah loy kol shekain. So a sheretz that doesn't kill. No, shrotzim don't normally kill, and certainly not like snakes. Shouldn't be a kol shekain that it's not going to become tamei. So with one little argument, he was able to, Sumchus is saying 150 reasons why he would think that a sheretz is not tamei, even though the Torah says it is tamei, right? And then came along Ravina, and he said, I'll just give you one simple reason. I don't need 150. But loyin, it's not true. Maisa kites ba'alma kavit. A snake is only doing a maisa kites. It's no different. The reason why the way a snake kills is by biting. It's no different than a thorn. That a thorn goes in the wrong part of the body, it'll also kill. So it's not really the snake that's killing. It's more the fangs, I guess.
The venom.
Yeah. So, what do you say?
The venom.
The venom, or yeah, but it's got to go in through the bite. Yeah. 3 years, Beisham Yisrael had a machlokes, right? For 3 years they were fighting. I don't know if fighting is not the right word. They in Torah. Each one said that halachas should follow us. Right? They're both right? This is right, a very famous Gemara. They're both the word of Hashem. But Lamaisa halacha is like Betul. So if they're both true, so then why was Beis Hill Zaycha that halacha should be like them? Because they were neichen, they were calm, and valuven hayu, and they would take the heat, and they would not respond back. For Shain and Debrayan, they would also teach theirs, and they would also teach Beis Shammai's opinion. They would teach both. Yeah, they would first teach Beis Shammai before they said their own opinions. Like we learned, yeah, somebody whose his head and most of his body is in a sukkah, but his table's inside the house. So Beis Shammai says pasul, Beis Hillel says it's kosher. Beis Shammai, lechayaim. Was this not the story that they went to visit Rabbi Yochanan ben Charanas and they saw that he was sitting with his head and most of his body in the sukkah, but his table was in the sukkah. So you see the halachas like him. From there, it's not a raya. But they told him, when they saw him doing this, they told him that you're not going to be yotze your mitzvah forever. So it's not a proof that we go with that. L'metra shekol. So let's. Okay. L'metra teaches this that we passing still teaches us. Shekol mashpil atzmei HaKadosh Baruch Hu magbiyai. Right. Whoever lowers himself, HaKadosh Baruch Hu picks him up. And if you become a Baal Gaiva and you pump yourself up, Hashem's going to knock you down. Somebody wants to become a great guy, so the greatness runs away from him. And then if somebody's not looking to be great, then it's going to chase him. Right? There's a Mishna of us like that. Now, what does this mean? This is an interesting line right here. We had a discussion about it in my house before with Yisrael. Anybody who pushes the hour, that's the literal translation, then the hour is going to push him, right? Meaning if you, the way Rashi explains it, that if you don't have patience and you try and force the issue, like, and Rashi says it about parnas or anything like that, if you don't let it come to you and you just make yourself crazy, then you're going to get messed over. But if you push yourself from time, and then time is going to be on your side. Imedasle means it's going to stand up for you, right? Which
So these
which
two
means
sports metaphors.
it's true. Yes, it's funny. That's
let
what they say, right?
Let the game come to you, and
Yes.
act like you've been there before.
Right. That's exactly that. Let the game come to you. That's what the players say. But that's what it is. I don't know why. In my opinion, my humble opinion, I think that patience is probably the number one midah that you have to have in order to have any sort of success in anything in life. You have to have patience. The Muslim do not discuss patience. They never discuss patience, right? In business and in chinuch and teachers, whatever it is, you have to have patience. No, anybody disagree with that?
The greatest modern day sefer has a whole song about it.
The what?
The greatest modern day Musar sefer has a whole song about it. Dr. Midos.
Oh, does he?
Have patience.
Okay. I don't. I have a vague memory of it.
The Ale Shore has a lot about patience. The Ale Shore.
Yeah, but I'm saying the classic Musar Svarim don't have a perek about patience. Savlanas, even that they don't have.
I mean, in Chavos Alvavos doesn't have Savlanas.
I don't think so. I looked into it, and I don't remember finding it. But
so why do you
think it comes up a lot in Anivas? That's why.
What comes what?
Comes up a lot in Anivas when they discuss Anivas.
Okay, I hear that. Now the big kasha also is what is the story with Elu Ve'elu Divrei Lekim Chaim, right? If it's Elu Ve'elu Divrei Lekim Chaim, so then what are we paskening, right? That's one issue. Other issue is that a lot of times there's machlokes about what happened in the Beis Hamikdash. Right, so how could you? It's one thing to say Elu Ve'elu Divrei Lekim Chaim, that every gadol or is entitled to their opinion, and that's what Hashem really wants. But Hashem wants both, but you have to choose one. Fine, what about when they're arguing about facts?
And they argue with Reb Chanina Skana Koyanim. They argue with him.
Right.
He was there with
they argue, right.
Him and his father were there for 60 years, and they argue with him.
Right. So they have arguments. So the way to Marsha, I think it's this morning, so it's already been a long time. But the Marsha says that it should have been having a machlokes is the way they understood that it should have been. Then machlokes is not necessarily the way it was. That's the way they understood the way it should have been in the Beis Hamikdash. And what actually happened is not that's not what they're arguing about. Okay, let's see a little bit. For 2.5 years, Beisham Yisrael had a machlokes. One
Okay, I'm gonna text him.
that it should not be created, rather than, and the other one said it's better accounting, right? You know what means that they. Yeah. I'll call him. Where's the phone? Where's Gerson's phone? On me? Are we back on yet?
Gershon, what's your phone?
Is the air conditioner off? Can you come put it on, please?
Daniel, which Stein child is driving without the air conditioning? You let me know who's driving, please.
It's not the driver that's the issue with the air conditioning.
Aha.
I'm calling in too. Hold up. How's this gonna work now? Am I on now? Hear me?
With this feedback, you gotta shut one of your phones off.
I know, I'm trying to figure out which one to do. Get the... Hello? Got me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to balance an iPad and holding two phones at once.
Turn right on Grossman Turnpike.
Okay. We there? You hear me?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. All right. So, Tana Rabbanan. Oh, no, we just read it. Okay, so let's start again. One said it's better that they shouldn't have been created, meaning there should be no humans more than were created. Rather that they should have been created instead of and not have been born. Meaning, it's good that we are born. And they had an accounting. They counted themselves up, which, by the way, I think it's a Rashi in Sukkah that says Nimnu V'Garon means it was unanimous. So Beisham and Bezil, who disagreed on many, many things, on this they both agreed that it's better that humans should not be born.
So what are they arguing with the Rebbeinu Shalom? Who are they arguing with?
Oh, there you go. Right. Excellent question, right? What it means if by both Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel decided that we shouldn't be born, so why were we born? Right? So the Marsha says the Pashup shot is that there are more loisa says than asays. Right? So since there's more loisa says than asays, that means we have a higher risk of failing. Right? That's his basic way of saying it. So since there's a high risk of failing, so it would have been better not now, but now that we're born, so we have a chiyuv to try. Meaning, Hashem decided that we should be born, but ultimately, for our own sake, it's less. It would be less risky to just not be born. It's more of a risk that we're born. Hashem decided we have to be born, but it would theoretically be better for us not to. Right? Okay.
It's beyond my pay grade. It's beyond my pay grade. I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's a tough one. We'll get to the Tosis in a minute. Now that somebody was created, you fashresh for myself, so you should look back and see if you did anything bad, you should do tshuva. Amrilo yimashmesh for myself. Others say that they're pretty much the same. That you should, but it's more for the future. Right, that you should make sure that you're going to be a good Jew.
There was an Israeli legal case that cited this Gemara in its ruling. A very famous Israeli legal case in medical halacha.
That what?
A child who was genetically damaged was born, and the parents sued, saying that they didn't get the right genetic information had they gotten that they would not have conceived that child. And the head of that court, who ruled in favor, said that the child could not sue for himself because even though it's better that he's not been born, he's born already. So therefore, he can't say I would not have been born. It's a little bit specious reasoning, but it's based on this Gemara. It's not that interesting to the rest of you, but it was interesting to those people who were involved in the case.
Very interesting. No, very good. Thank you. So now the Tosis though asked the kasha because the Gemara Navai Zora says that we should be thankful to those that did the chet egel, right? Because if not for them, then we wouldn't have been born. So since we're born, we should have a karas tov to them. Now, if it's better that we shouldn't be born, why do we have a karas tov to them? We shouldn't have a karas tov to them, right? So Tosis says two terutzim.
Why wouldn't have we been born?
Because there were such good people that there would be no death.
That what?
There would be no death. There would be no death.
So there'll be no more people?
We wouldn't need any tikkun. So we wouldn't need to have to come into the world to be masak and whatever it is that we need to be done.
So considering all the promises to Avram Avinu about how many millions of Jews, that didn't matter?
I don't know. I don't know. This is the Gemara of Zar. Best Hashem will get over Zar, we'll deal with it. But the point that the Titus is asking is that why are we being Makatov if it's better that we shouldn't have been born? Right? So the Titus first says that it's as if we wouldn't have been born because we'd be meaningless. And the other one is, the other Titus is, that's for regular people. But a tzaddik, we need tzaddik to be born. Okay, whatever it is. Fine, that's that Gemara. It's a famous Gemara. You can spend days on all these Gemaras here. Okay, so the Mishna. Yeah, now back here. What? What did he say?
Seems to be a huge Taisus, this one. Seems to be Taisus is saying the Maskana that every day there's tzaddikim. So Ashra v'Ashra Doire.
Right. Yeah. And
that means the name of Gamru is just a Hava.
Yeah, so what are you saying?
He's saying the whole name of the Gamru is the whole green.
Right.
Now it's tzaddikim every day. It's Noach Yivra, Ashra.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay, so now back to Eruvin.
Yeah, but only tzaddikim according to that.
Oh, look at the way the Taisus. Ashra v'Ashra Doire.
Because of the tzaddikim, but only the tzaddikim were not the nifra.
And yet Ashra Doire.
Right, no, Mask.
Fair.
Okay, the Zog the Mishna, yeah. HaKoira Sha'amru, what is the measurements of the koira, of the beam, right? It has to be the width in order to be makabel and a riach, which is a half a brick. And then a riach is a half. I'm not levana. The levana is the moon. Levena, a brick, right? It's a half brick. That's half of 3 tefachim, right? Chatzi levana shlosh tefachim, right? Daya lekayr shetei lechava tefach. And it's enough for the koira that should be a tefach, right? Kedei lekabel ariach l'rochbei, so that it should be lekabel this ariach, this half of brick, to its width. We'll see in the Gemara what this is talking about. Rechava kedei lekabel ariach, it has to be wide in order to be makabel this half brick. Ubriya kedei lekabel, it also has to have that strength to hold it. Meaning, it could be, you could have it made out of straw, and it's that thick that that's not going to be enough. Right, it's not going to hold it. It has to be wide even though it's not straw. Fine. If it's made out of straw or reeds, we look at it like it's made out of metal. Akuma, if it's round, we look at it like it's, meaning you can't rest the brick on something round. So we look at it like it's flat. Akula, right? And if it's round, we look at it that it's square. Yeah, I'm sorry. I mixed it up. Akuma means if it's bent. If it's bent, we look at it like it's straight. Agula means if it's round, we look at it like it's if it's square. And again, this is also all virtual. This is all virtual stuff because he's saying that the kaira needs to be able to hold a brick on it, but if it's round, it can't hold a brick. Okay, so we look at it like it's not round. Yeah. So,
I don't know.
Again, this is the Rabbanon are the ones that are saying these are necessary. The Rabbanon have the koyach to be able to say that if we look at it like it's square, even though it's round. What do you want to say? Someone want to say something? Okay, fine. Right, this is where we get into the whole pie Gemara. If because again, it has to be a tefach. So we look at it like if it has in the circumference 3 tefachim, that means in the diameter it's going to have 1 tefach. Fine. So Gemara. Now we're on to Yudalim Tefach umeflebut. Right? You're saying it's a tefach? It needs a tefach and a half. So when it says kimin derach of the kabel tefach, since it's wide enough to be kabel tefach, either chati tefach, the other half of tefach. Mavui lebetina. What you do is you put a little bit of cement on the one edge of the brick. Mashu mehai gisu, mashu mehai gisu. A little bit from this side, a little bit on the other side, the kaima, and then you'll be able to have it. Fine. So Amud Varafuna Kadosh Amud Tzuzu Shetei Bria Kedei
or half a brick, right, which is called an ariach. Mamide kaira, but the things that are holding up the kaira, right, because the kaira is resting, let's say, on some studs or some hooks or whatever it is. So those things ain't it. Top of that, I have a brick. No, they both. Chisda disagrees, and he says that they both need to be strong enough to be makabel a brick. Some of sheshes. And here can't be mavui. Right, we go through a bunch of different cases here, interesting cases. Some of sheshes. Near can't be mavui. You leave a beam on the opening of a mavui. You paras the and you spread out a mat over the beam. So you beam on a kapish loisha, and the mat is lifted off from the ground by 3 tefachim, meaning the mat doesn't hit the ground. It rests around 3 tefachim above. So kaira ain't kan, mechita ain't kan, because you can't see the kaira because it's covered by a mat, and the mat doesn't go all the way to the ground. So therefore, you have nothing. You don't have a kaira and you don't have a mat, and therefore it's no good. You will not be able to carry there. Kaira ain't kan, the hamichsai, because it's hidden. There's no beam there. What kind of beam if it's covered over by the mat? Mechita ain't kan, there's no mechita there because the gedi, right? We had this in Shabbos, that if anything that's lifted off the ground by more than 3 tefachim, so since a goat can get itself under there, therefore we look at it like it's not a mechita because it will not hold the goat out. Yeah, fine.
Wasn't the maskana a block ago that kaira is the kuli alma for a hacker?
What, that it was a hack? What, that kaira is mishum hacker? It was a machlokes. We came out with a maskana?
I thought the Gemara came out with kuli alma was a... Might be wrong. I thought it was for hacker.
What's an afkamina? So what are you saying?
So what if the Marcellus is covering it? It's a bigger hacker, not a smaller hacker.
No, but you just think that somebody hung out a mat. That you're not going to chop that it's you're not going to realize that has something to do with an Eruv, no?
Right. The purpose of putting the mat there is to make it noticeable,
on the wall.
Or it's stopped. Someone hung his laundry on it.
What? That's what you're saying. It looks like.
What?
What, is that what you're saying, that it looks like he hung his laundry?
I don't know. I would think that it's a bigger hacker. Unless you say that, I don't know why is it not a bigger hacker?
So I just wonder, like, is a kaira a hacker only once you tell everybody that that's what it's there for, or it's just something that's there by the opening of the mavui?
Kaira looks like a doorpost, so it's a hacker.
Right. So then, if something's hanging on it, so then it's not going to be a hacker.
Right.
On the bottom, he says it's not strong enough. Machlokes is not strong enough to hold a brick, so therefore it wouldn't count as a kaira.
I understand. But
the kaira is still there.
It's on the kaira, isn't it?
Yeah, but you don't see the kaira.
That's my question.
Okay.
So what?
But if you're saying I'll hacker, so it's still going to stop you from carrying. Why did you say better? It's going to stop you from carrying. Who cares that a gedi can go under? Bottom line, it's going to block you.
The person can.
No?
Yeah.
Why are you
Yeah.
classic here?
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, Gersh and I, it's what you're saying is bothering me the whole day because with a regular one, a kaira, an elephant could go under it. What does it have to do with a gedi? So good a gedi can go under Marcellus.
Yeah, that's the problem. The Marcellus is making it worse. For what reason?
Well, yeah, I'm agreeing with you. That's not making it worse for anything.
The kaira by itself is just a hacker. Once you put a Marcellus on, now you must have a mechitza.
Why?
Yeah, because...
Why?
Right, that's what he's asking. He's asking why that is. It shouldn't be.
And I'll
should at least stop.
I don't know. That's my question.
Okay, no, yeah, it's a good question. Okay, let's see weiter. It's not about it. Yeah, Yuri Hertzberg posted a bunch of good pictures on the chat. If anybody wants to see, right, Yuri, that was you that posted it. All right, thank you.
Yeah. So it was Yuri.
Yeah, I think on the Zoom, he's Chaim, I think. But all right. Yeah. So if you have a beam that goes out from this wall and it doesn't touch the other wall, meaning you have a beam that's supposed to go across the whole opening of the mavui, but it doesn't make it. That's the first case. The other case is that you have two beams from either side wall of the mavui, but neither one of those beams makes it all the way across. Is that enough of a hecker? Right? If they're within 3 tefachim, less than 3 tefachim, again, 3 tefachim is too much, less than 3 tefachim, then you don't need to bring another beam. But if it's 3 tefachim or more, you will have to bring another beam. That's Rav Shimon Gamliel's shita that we had a couple of times already. He holds that lavud is not 3 tefachim. He says lavud is 4 tefachim. Fine. When you have twin beams, right? Each beam itself is made out of thin wood. Let's say it's made out of wood that's thin that it can't hold a brick, right, or the half a brick. Right? If you can take the width of the brick and lay it across these two, then you don't have to bring another beam. If you have you have to bring another beam in order to strengthen it. If it could be makabel to its length of 3, then it doesn't have to. Then you don't need to bring another beam. But if not, then you're going to have to bring another beam. Okay? Let's say one was on up and one was on the bottom. Yes, you look at the top one, we look at it if it drops it down to the bottom one, and you look at the bottom one that it goes up to the top one. As long as the top beam is not higher than 20 amas, as long as the lower beam is not lower than 10 tefachim. He holds like his father with one, and he disagrees with his father in another one. He holds of this rule of Ryan, which we said in the Mishna, was just looking at these beams as if they're the proper measurement, meaning we said with straw, it has to be big enough that theoretically, if it was made out of metal or wood, that it would be able to hold half a brick. Even though it itself right now is made out of straw, it won't be able to hold it because we say the rule right. We look at it as if it's metal. So do here, we say right. We look at each beam as if it's equal with the other. That's one way that he agrees with it. So the plural, right? Rav Yehuda holds that the malam is fine. He disagrees and he says only it has to be within 20, it can't be above 20. Fine. It's got to be wide even though it's not strong enough. It's wide even though it's not strong enough. Says no, teach him that it has to be wide and strong enough. Right? It has to be 4 wide, even though it's not enough to hold a half a brick. Right? So the Gemara answers 4 tefachim is different. Right? When it's 4 tefachim, then it doesn't have to be as strong. But if it would be less than 4 tefachim, then it would have to be. Okay, Hoytzer Shel Kash is made out of straw. What are you trying to say by bringing the example of straw? That's the same example we said before. That you look at it, Ryan. You look at these beams as if they're made that they're going to be proper. The same you would say it by its type, meaning if you have wood, so as long as wood is the size that a normal piece of wood would be able to hold a half a brick, then we look at it like it's strong enough. But straw is not wood, so maybe you wouldn't be able to, right? So Kamash Malon, the Mishnah is telling you that no, even if it's made out of something else, we would still look at it like it's strong. Hakuma Rayna Tekilu Pshuta. If it's bent, we look at it like it's flat, Pshita. Why shouldn't you be look at it like that? Let's say the beam is inside the mavui, but its bent part is outside of the mavui. If the beam is within 20 amas, but its bent part goes above 20. The beam is above 10, but its bent part goes below 10. So what you have to do is, let's say it's bent, it's got a little bump in the middle, right? So we look at it like how much space, meaning, if I think the art school has a picture of this. But basically, you have this beam that's flat, then all of a sudden in the middle it curves, and that curve goes out of the proper measurement. Right? So if it's going to be that curve is less than 3 tefachim, then we're going to be fine with it. If that curve is more than 3 tefachim, then you're going to have to bring another beam to fill in that gap. Right? Yeah? So, that's also pashut. If it's bent, let's say that bent goes 5 feet, right? And that 5 feet is puzzle, so of course you need to bring another kaira. So Gemara says, no, we need the case where it's in the mavui and its bent part is outside of the mavui. Since this lechi, since this kaira is bent and it's bent towards the outside of the mavui, meaning we're not talking about height now, we're talking about in the width. Right? You have the kaira at the opening of the mavui and it gets bent out towards the Rosh Hashanah. So you would think that you might end up carrying it towards the Rosh Hashanah. Kamash Malon, that you are not. It's not a problem. We're not worried that you're going to follow it. So Agula Rayna Tekilu Himaruvas. If it's round, we look at it like it's square. Hasu Lamali, what do you need that for? So if it's circle, like Koshi Yesh Bekefu Gimat Tachim Yesh Berechav Tefa. The only reason why we have to say this case is because we're going to bring up the last case in the Mishnah, which tells you that something that has a circumference of 3 is going to have a diameter of 1. How do we know this? Right? This is talking about the Yam Shel Shlomo. Right? Shlomo Hamelech made this big, they call it a pool, right? Which is really just a big mikvah. Yeah? So he made it out of metal. Eser ba'ama misfasei al sfasei. It was 10 amas from one edge of the pool to the other. Ogul saviv, it was round. The chamesh ba'ama kaimasoi, and it was 5 amas high. The kav shloishim ba'ama yosef oisei saviv. And if you want to take a string and go all the way around, it would be the length of 30 amas. Right, so what do you see? That it had a circumference of 30 amas, and from lip to lip, it was 10 amas. But the Gemara says, what do you mean? But you had the rim of the pool. So Rabba Sfasei Sfas Parach Sfasei Parach Shoishon Ksibe. It says it was like it was some sort of flower. The sieve. Right? So it says that it could hold. So obvious tefach, it was the width of a tefach. And the lip was made like a cup with a flower, like a perach shoshan. Alpayim bas yochel. Bas is a type of measurement. It would hold 2,000 in it. Oh, Vayikamashu. The Gemara says, but there still has to be a thickness, a little bit. There has to be a little bit of a thickness. So kikachashem megavai kachashem. No, so when we're calculating from the inside, we're not calculating the lip. I don't know why the Gemara couldn't just give that answer in the first place. Okay. The Tanya Rabbi Chia Yam Shas Shlomo Hayamasik Me'ah v'Chamishim Mikva Tahara. The yam that Shlomo made would be able to hold 150 mikvahs. Now, what does that mean? Michvi, let's see. Mikva kama have arboim so. A mikvah is 40 sak. In the Tanya, we had this a bunch of while ago. First, you have to wash your basar, b'mayim and water. The main mikvah, that means in the water of a mikvah. Kol basaroi, and when it says your whole basar, that's mayim shekol gufay oilaben. That's water that your whole body has to go. Has to go in. How much is that? Amma al amma barum sholish amas. It's an amma by an amma at the height of 3 amas. The shir chachamim may mikvah arba'im sa, and the shir of the chachamim of the main mikvah is 40 sa. Kama havalu. So how much do you have? Chamesh meya garmide. You had 500 garmides cubic amas. Right, there's 500 cubic amas. The plus meya from 300. Right? So if you're saying the percentage, so from 500 you're gonna have 300, right? And from that 150 you're gonna end up with 50. So barba meya v'chamshin sagis, and then it's 450. It's not 500. So Gemara answers hani mili b'irvua. That's only if you make it into a square. It was round. So Gemara asks, Mitzli kamen beruba, how much is it? How much is a square more than a circle? I mean, if you have a circle and you want to square it off, how much is it? Yeah, revia la arba meya. I'm sorry, revia. It's a quarter. Arba meya. So from 400 you have 100 because it's a quarter. La meya esem b'chamisha. So 100 you have 25. Hani meya v'esem chamisha havalu. So then it's 125, not 150. The Yam Shas Shlomo had the 3 amas, the bottom 3 amas were square, and the 2 upper ones were round. Right? So the Gemara answers, the Gemara asks, of course you can't say that the bottom was round and the top was square. It's supposed to say because it was round. Why don't you just say it was 1 amma and not anymore? I should slow up here because I'm going to lose service. Just pull over if you can. Yeah? So don't think that the sieve, I'll pay him. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Because I'm about to lose service. The sieve, I'll pay him bas yochil. No, stay here, please. I'll pay him bas yochil if it holds 2,000 bas, which you said is a share. Bas kamahavi, how much is a bas? Shalish son, 3 saw. The sieve, Maaser Habas min akor. The bas is Maaser from a kor, right? The 10th. The Havalish Shisa Alfei Girya. That is 6,000 measurements. But it says that if you hold, it can hold 3,000 batim, not 6. Yes, the good shot. That's for the good shot. That's for piling it up. Meaning, theoretically, if you would, what they call a heaping teaspoon, right? So, how much, if you're going to pile it up, how much more does it make? So, Amar Abaya. So, we hear from this. High good shot havi. When you pile it up, it's going to be a third more. Which obviously it depends how big the utensil is, right? If the bigger it is, the more you can be able to pile up. But Tanan Nami, Shida Tevo Migdo, right? Those are all types of boxes. Kaveras Akash, the Kaveras Akonim, and a basket made out of reeds. Ubar Tvina Alexandrius, and the bar from Alexandria, from a boat of Alexandria. Avbishiyesh and Shulaim, even though they have a bottom, and they could hold 40 saw. The lach when they're wet, Shein Kurayim Biyavish, which is really 2 kur when it's dry. Tahirin, they're all tar. Now the reason for that is because something that's so large that could hold 40 saw cannot become tamei, which is why an airplane can't become tamei. The airplane itself can't become tamei. Cars can't become tamei. Refrigerators. That's why some say that oven racks, even if you use them, you don't need to toivel the racks if you put the food directly on there. Okay, whatever it is, but that's how we know that. This is how we know pi. Without getting into the whole issue of pi is really 3.14, and the Pashas of the Gemara seems to be rounding it off from 3 to 1. Yeah, okay, I guess we'll stop here. I hope I didn't do that last part a little too fast, but you'll be Michael, I hope. Fine. All right.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Good one.
Sorry for the disturbances.
Thank you. Have a good night. Enjoy your drive.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Good enough.
Good night.
Sheesh.